Thank you. And we dealt with item 21, so now we're up to item 22, the Triennial Agreement between local authorities in the Canterbury region. Would someone like to move the recommendation? I'll move the recommendation. David East will second it. Is there any discussion? Yanni.
I don't quite understand the financial. It says there's no financial implications.
Who's the staff member? Is that you?
When you read it, it actually does give quite a lot of power to do a few things in terms of work streams, and so I do find it a little bit weird that the Canterbury Mayoral Forum, for example, has the power to levy for any and all of its objects in such amounts that are mutually determined and acceptable. So, this group is doing a lot of work, I presume, but I don't have any sense of what the organisational pressure is on the organisation to provide support to this work.
That levy would have to be agreed by the individual local councils before it could be levied.
Have to come back.
It says they have the power to levy, as long as it's mutually determined and acceptable to individual local authorities. So we have to sign off on it before they could levy.
And I guess if you look, the Chief Executive Forum is doing a lot of work around collaboration, but I kind of wonder whether we need to be doing that at a governance level, and how we'll be doing that in terms of things like the representation review, and things like public transport.
So the Mayoral Forum is about establishing and maintaining close liaison with other local government networks to ensure, as far as possible, the pursuit of common objectives and the minimisation of duplication, establishing and maintaining close liaison with ministers of Crown and local MPs, establish and maintain local close. So where is it that we don't do what you're saying?
Oh, sorry. So, like, for example, the August 2013 Macready, Winder and Co paper. Like, what does that mean for us as an organisation?
Sorry, refer to what page?
42.
Page what?
42.
What? We're on item number 22.
Sorry, 142.
Oh, sorry.
At the top. 5C. So, I think, it'd be nice at an early stage for us to kind of give a signal to the areas where we'd want to look at collaborating. But I don't have a sense of how we basically say these are the things we want you to progress. What I get a sense of, which happened with ECAN, the way ECAN got disbanded, was the Mayoral Forum went off and did all the work and organised to get rid of the elected ECAN. And I don't want that to happen again.
You've only been to one,
yeah. So,
I've only been to one.
Yeah. The purpose of this agreement is to set the basis for doing things. There's only been one since Leanne has been elected. From memory, in the last term, I'm not sure that the Mayoral Forum meetings were reported back to Council.
That will change.
So I think if
actually, when you get the minutes, it's too late because the work has already happened.
yeah, but
I know that they were involved. I think they were consulted on the future of ECAN, for example, whether we should have elected ECAN, but there was no discussion at council before that feedback was given to the government over what our view was.
That is true. That is true. That is true. And it was the timing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were not given enough time to put it on our council agenda. So I'll accept responsibility for that.
If we approve this today, I guess we can always go through the to get.
yeah.
Well, no, we do need I agree with you about process, we were placed in the position because of the timing of the review and the fact that there was only one Mayoral Forum meeting between the time that we were elected and within a matter of days, well, not a matter of days of the election, but at the first Mayoral Forum meeting, we had to basically state our position about where we would be. So, and what the government is planning to do is to undertake put out a discussion paper with various options. And so what I made sure was that there was an option in there of going to full elected representation at the next next council election. Because what I was concerned about was that the discussion paper wouldn't include the option of having the hybrid, 50-50 or whatever the hybrid is, of elected and appointed, that option would be the option for 2016 if we didn't have a midterm election to bring in the hybrid for a period of time to transition to full elections in 2016, which is the expectation of the people of this region. The expectation of the people of this region was that they would have elections last year for ECAN positions, and they didn't.
So I guess in essence, what I'm concerned about is we're giving away a lot of power to a group of people to do things that represent some quite important strategic directions without a process by which the mandate comes from the elected council.
I agree. If I had said that I would bring it back to council, then we wouldn't have had a say.
Yeah, I understand.
So I apologise. I agree that the
Yeah.
process was not ideal for that. Yeah. What we need to figure out, with me taking some leadership on the matter, is how do I make sure that I communicate to other councillors that in future I will not be making any decisions or contributing to any debate until I've discussed the issue with the council.
Great, thank you. And just the final question is, on page 141, what is the Canterbury Local Government Strategy and Policy Forum that we're agreeing to implement? And is that something that we can have come back and so we can understand what it actually is?
I have no idea.
Because I do worry that we've got Sarah, we've got council, we've got UDS, we've got recovery, strategic working groups. We've got all these decision makers with all these different sets of objectives for the region without any clear understanding about a common agreed objective. And it seems like there's too many groups. It's a bit like the map you like to show about the earthquake recovery.
I think it comes from the Peter, the McGreedy, Winder and Co paper, which talks about a far more collaborative approach. But this is not, the Canterbury Local Government Strategy and Policy Forum is not just mayors. It's actually about the councils and the ECAN working collaboratively around strategy and policy so that we are an effective combined voice when dealing with central government. That's what it's about. And it's not really about earthquake recovery. It's about our approach on local government, like the Local Government Act that we've got an amendment going to vote on in a minute, our submission on. It's how do we work strategically as a region so that we are an effective voice for our region when we're dealing with central government.
And the question that then raises to me is what is the first local government New Zealand in Zone 5 and where is the
Well,
connection?
because actually, you may not have noticed, but Auckland now is an incredibly powerful voice when it speaks to central government, and I think the idea is that we should operate as collaboratively as we can so that the focus is on our region all the time, not an exclusion to others, but so that we don't get left behind. That's the purpose behind it. I don't know whether councillors have actually been given a copy of the McCready, Winder and Co paper. Would that be helpful? Yeah, so could we circulate a copy of that paper to everyone? It is, I have actually read that paper and it is very good, but it talks about us collaborating in terms of our relationship with central government. It's got nothing to do with earthquake recovery. It's to do with the region, roads, various other things, anything that is relevant to our region. Yeah, well, but it's to do with our region. So, I will certainly communicate our council's position to the next meeting, and I do apologise for adopting the position that I did on ECAN prior to bringing it to council, but otherwise we wouldn't have had our position known, well, my position known at all. I had to adopt a position.
And this is the term the government has brought in, that they only consult with the mayors to get a mandate for a region. So that's why I'm really cautious, because it's a very deliberate strategy from government to only consult with the mayors as somehow being representative of the wider cities and the populations, which I feel really
I know the
concerned
history,
about.
and
Yeah,
I'm
great.
assuring you
Thank
that
you.
I simply made the decision because otherwise they would not have had that particular option put up. Now, I don't know whether the government will put it in the discussion paper or not, but I certainly hope that they do, because I think all options should be on the table as we think about the future of our region.
Yeah, I'm not being critical of you. I was actually being critical of the processes that government adopt that put you in that situation.
It was, I think it was the timing, and I personally agree with you that the timing really didn't take into account that there were new councils and new mayors being elected with no history in terms of the way things ought to be. So I will take all of that on board. I'd like to put the motion. All those in favour say aye. Those opposed say no. Carried. Thank you. The next item.